Hello, and welcome to Encouraging Words with Renae. We are doing a three-part series on money management, and last week we talked about saying goodbye to poverty. So, this is week 2, and we're going to be talking about 10 simple ways to manage our money better, and we climax next week where we're going to be talking about the money principle. So I am so excited that you're a part of this series, and I want you to just write in or call in and let us know if this series has been a blessing to you. So here are 10 ways in which we are going to be able to manage our money better. I want you to know that being good with money is more than just making ends meet on a monthly basis. Don't worry that you're not great at math. That's okay. I'm not great at math either. We just need to know the basic addition and subtraction enabled to be able to manage our money well. And life goes so much easier when we have better financial skills. You see, how we spend our money, it impacts our credit score and the amount of debt that we carry each month. If you're struggling with money management issues, such as living paycheck to paycheck, despite making more than enough money, these tips are going to help you in your financial habits. When you're faced with a spending decision, especially a large purchase, don't just assume you can afford it. Confirm that you can actually buy the item and that you haven't already committed those funds to something else, because that's something maybe your spouse did. That you might think there's another $500 in the account, but your spouse decided, oh, he's going to get your anniversary gift early, and he used that money. So it's not there anymore. So be sure that you have the funds to make these purchases. Confirm that you can actually afford these things, okay? That means sometimes we have to use our budget and balance our checking and savings account to decide whether we can afford a purchase or not. Remember, just because the money is there doesn't mean you can make that purchase. You also have to consider the bills and expenses you pay before your next payday. So payday is coming up, and you're thinking, oh, I have some extra funds, but maybe you don't. I'm going to talk about the 10 tips that we can manage our money better. Tip number 1. Are you ready? You got your pens, your papers, you got your computers to type it in? Here we go. Number 1, you've got to have a budget. Many people don't budget because they don't want to go through what they think will be a boring process of listing out expenses or adding up numbers or making sure everything lines up. If you're bad with money, you don't have room for excuses with your budget. If all it takes is to get your spending on track is a few hours of working a budget each month, why wouldn't you do that? Do it. Have a budget. Tip number 1. Instead of focusing on the process of creating a budget, focus on the value of budgeting will bring to your life. It brings very good value to your life. You will not waste it. You won't regret it. Tip number 2, use that budget. So after you've created the budget, you need to use it. Your budget is useless if you make it and then let it collect dust in a folder tucked away in a bookshelf or a filing cabinet. Refer to it often throughout the month, and it will help you guide your spending decisions. Update it as you pay your bills and spend on other monthly expenses. At any given time during the month, you should have an idea of how much money you're able to spend, considering any expenses you have left to pay. What I do is I wait on the bank statement. When the bank sends my statement, I go through it item per item, and I'm able to see, oh, I spent this, I spent that, and this is what I have left. Okay, I know what I need to do next. So be sure to use the budget that you have created. Number 3, give yourself a limit for unbudgeted spending. A critical part of your budget is the net income, or the amount of money left after you subtract your expenses from your income. If you have any money left over, you can use it for fun or for entertainment, but only up to a certain amount. You can probably go and take the kids to the park and buy some ice cream, take a bike ride, put some gas in the car and take an extended trip, see the scenery or something. You can't go to Disney World and spend $5,000. Okay, so what I'm saying is when you have money left over for entertainment, only to a certain amount that you should spend. Don't go crazy with this money. Don't go jetting off to Paris on a third honeymoon, especially if it's not a lot and it has to last the rest of the month. So before you make any big decisions or big purchases, make sure it won't interfere with anything else that you have planned. Okay, be sure to do that. Number 4, you've got to track your spending. Small purchases here and there add up quickly. And I am a testament to that. They add up very quickly. And before you know it, you've overspent your budget. Start tracking your spending to discover places where you may be unknowingly overspending. Save your receipts. Don't throw them away. Save them. Tick them off, item by item, and write your purchases in a spending journal. Categorize them so you can identify areas where you've had a hard time keeping your spending in check. So be sure to, and if you're not good at that stuff, have your spouse do it. They may be better at finances than you are. So whoever's the more strong financial person, let them handle this. And it will be more easy for them to do because that's their gifting. They can do that. You've got to find ways to keep your finances in check or you will find yourself in debt, okay? Tracking your expenses is one of the key factors in making your budget work for you. If you do not know how much you have spent each month, you can't tell where you overspent. Even the small expenses can cause you to blow your budget, and you don't want that. There are several options available to track your expenses. One of the simplest is a written ledger or a tracking system. It may be even easier to choose budgeting software that works with an app so you can track your expenses. You know, they have so many apps out these days. You can put it on your phone, you can use it on your laptop, but there are so many choices and you can use them. It will allow you to keep up while you're on the go. It's important to know how to track your expenses. Even if you use a little notebook, a little handy notebook, you can get those from the dollar store. It can also help you to become more aware of what you're spending and where you are spending it. And that can help you identify the areas where you need to make all of the changes that you're doing wrong. Everything you're doing wrong, that's where you can make those changes. So stick to your spending limits. Stick to them. Don't commit to any new or reoccurring monthly bills. Just because your income and credit qualify you for a certain loan, it doesn't mean you should take it. I have a very good example of that. Sometimes we qualify for a home that's $550,000, but we can very comfortably live in a home that's $350,000. Don't spend an extra $200,000 just because you qualify in the bank for that amount. So just try to stay within your budget. Many people, naively think that the bank wouldn't approve them for a credit card or loan they can't afford. But they will. They will approve you and they'll give it to you, and then you find yourself in a really bad place. The bank only knows your income as you've reported it and the debt obligations included on your credit report, not any other obligations that could prevent you from making your payments on time. High credit scores generally indicate that your credit report includes positive information, while low credit scores indicate the presence of negative information. Usually, the higher your score, the more likely you are to be approved for the loan. So it's up to you to decide whether a monthly payment is affordable based on your income and other monthly obligations, okay? So be sure to pay attention to that. Number 5, make sure you're paying the best prices. Now, can I hear clearance racks? Yes, there's nothing wrong with clearance racks. Those are reduced prices on items that you would have paid full ticketed prices for. Make sure you're paying the best price. If there is a sale, 15% off, Go toward that area. Why pay full price when you don't have to? You can make the most of your money during comparison shopping, ensuring that you're paying the lowest prices for products and services. Look for discounts, for coupons, and cheaper alternatives wherever you can. That's absolutely important. That is a concept that I have taught my family and that I use on a daily basis. And even though you may only be saving 15% on this item, in the long run, it puts money back in your pocket, which means you're better for it at the end of the month. So take that tip and be sure to do it, okay? Make sure you're using the best prices. Number six, save up for big purchases. The ability to delay gratification will go a long way in helping you be better with money. When you put off large purchases, rather than sacrificing more important essentials or putting the purchase on a credit card, you give yourself the time to evaluate whether the purchase is necessary and even more time to compare the prices. By saving up rather than using credit, you avoid paying the interest on the purchase. And if you save rather than skipping bills or obligations, well, you don't have to deal with the many consequences of missing those bills. So it's really important that you save up for the big purchases. It's I'm telling you, I have done it. It works. It works. It works. Number seven. We're counting. Limit your credit card purchases. Okay, so credit cards are great. They come in handy, and I believe I endorse them. I like credit cards because I found you can, if you use it correctly, you can build your credit with them. However, they can be a bad spender's worst enemy. So if you are a disciplined person, it's fine. It works. You can manage it well. But if you are a person who is not, it can be your worst enemy. You see, when you run out of cash, you simply turn to your credit cards without considering whether you can afford to pay the balance off at the time. So resist the urge to use your credit cards for purchases you can't afford, especially on items you don't really need. Number 8. So we need to contribute to our savings regularly. Depositing money into a savings account each month can help you build healthy financial habits. You can even set it up so the money is automatically transferred from your checking account to your savings account, and that way you don't have to remember to make the transfer each month. So the bank can do that for you. They can set it up so that they can just transfer the funds each month automatically. So it's a good tip. It's helped many persons that I know who have wanted to kind of say, I don't want to touch this $50, so I will just have it automatically transferred. And that little $50 adds up. If you think about it, it really adds up over a period of time. So number 9. My grandson likes to count with his fingers, so I have gotten in the habit of counting with my fingers. We've got to be good with money. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to be good with money. It doesn't happen just like that. For some people, I must say, they pick up really fast and it happens really good for them. But for most of us, it doesn't. So being good with money, it takes practice. So it's got to be a lifestyle of saving, a lifestyle of wanting to be better with your finances, a lifestyle of wanting to not be in poverty, because that's what this is all about. This money management series is how we manage our money and how we manage it well. So if we don't want to fall in the category over here where we're less than, we don't have enough, and we want to fall in the category over here where we have more than, and we have more than enough, then we will be good money management. So it's going to take practice. In the beginning, we may not be used to planning ahead, with putting off purchases until we can afford them. We may not be used to that. Planning ahead takes discipline, and putting off a purchase for later, especially when it's something you really want, it takes a lot of self denial to say no to things like that. And the more you make these habits a part of your life, the easier it is to manage your money, and the better off your finances are going to be. I promise you, it will. It absolutely will make your life better. So make the sacrifice and do that today. Why do you think money management is so important? I think it's important because without money management, our personal finances are going to be like a mystery. Like it's going to be like this big question mark, above our head. And we're going to be, what's going on with my money? What's going on with my finances? And it can lead to overspending and living paycheck to paycheck. Money management can help us have a better handle on our income and spending so that we can make decisions to improve our financial status. We won't have to be behind, we can be ahead. So how do we improve our money management? By regularly evaluating what we're doing with our money, making changes that make sense for you. It has to make sense for you and your family. For example, if you don't have a budget, you could start by developing one. If you have a budget, you could track your spending, see how things line up with your budget. And once you have an idea of your income and your spending, you could choose to increase your savings, pay off debt, start investing, based on your financial goals and the financial goals of your spouse and that you've put to come together and plan. You can do that if you manage your money well. So I want to say all these 10 tips, I'm going to repeat them one more time. Just give me a second. I want to have it in front of me. 10 simple ways to manage your money better. So if you weren't writing, here's your chance to get to jot it down real quick, okay? Ways to manage your money better. Tip number 1, have a budget. Number 2, use that budget. Number 3, give yourself a limit for unbudgeted spending. Number 4, track your spending. Tip number 5, make sure you're paying the best prices. Tip number 6, save up for big purchases. Number 7, limit your credit card purchases. Number 8, contribute to savings regularly. That's your savings account. If you want to make your savings your checking account, then it's vice versa, it's your checking account. Whatever it is, contribute to your savings regularly. If it's in a jar under your bed, contribute to your savings regularly. Number 9, be good with money. Being good with money takes practice. Being good with your money is going to take practice. So practice. And number 10, money management is really important. And we listed all the reasons why it's so important. So listen, don't give up. You may not be good at it now, but you will get there. Start today. And we have basically concluded week 2 of our series of money management. And I just want to pray for you as we conclude today so that you take these 10 tips and use them for the better. Lord, we thank you. We praise you, we honor you, we glorify your name. We know that money answers everything. And we know that the better we are good stewards of it, the better we will be in life. So help us to be good stewards of what you've given us. Help us to remember to give you a 10th. First, take out that 10th, that tithe that goes to you. And then that 90% that we're responsible for, that we be good stewards of that. I pray for our families that are right now going through so much stress. They're pulling out their hair because they cannot figure out how they're going to get out of the debt they're in, how they're going to pay the bills that they have, how they're going to feed their children, how they're going to pay for college, how they're going to buy a new car because the car they have is breaking down, how they're going to move into a house and get out of paying rent in an apartment. God, help them to know it starts with giving that 10th to you first, and then the 90 they can figure out. God, help them to know that whenever we are obedient to your word, we will reap the good of the land. Help them to know that money will answer their problems if they're good stewards of that money. We do not want that money to be a problem for them. We want it to be a solution for them. So today I bring everyone under the sound of my voice before you, and I pray that today they will release their funds into your hands so that you can do with it what you will. When you give it back, it's never the same. If we give you $10, you don't give back 10. You give it back pressed down, shaken together, running over. Now, what that amount is running over, I don't know. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 40, sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's 1,000, sometimes it's 1,000,000, just from the 10 we gave. So we've just got to trust you with it. And I give you thanks and I give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, I meant every word of that prayer, and I pray that you received that prayer today. Thank you for joining me. This was week 2 where we talked about 10 simple ways to make our money better. Next week, we climax with the money principle. We're going to see you then. God bless you today.